Greetings. Welcome to ITR Live. I'm your host, Chris Hagenow, and we are back here in the Hendrickson Library at the Center for the Preservation of Western Civilization at ITR World Headquarters in Central Iowa. John Hendrickson and myself here again today, ready to thrill and excite you on another outstanding episode of the gold standard in Iowa conservative entertainment. John, how you doing today?
I'm doing fine.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. We got a lot to go over today. Housekeeping before we get started. I'm trying to remind folks that not only are you wherever you're finding us, but we are on all the major audio platforms. We're on YouTube. And so if you can't find us, it's probably your fault, not ours.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Okay. Well, and I say all that at the outset, John. I've had multiple people this week tell me they enjoy the podcast, mostly you, not me. And yet I think there's more people that would like to tune in. So I remind everyone at the end of the show to make sure you subscribe and share and all those things. But please do that because I genuinely think there's a lot of people out there that would enjoy the content, and it just makes me feel better when the stats are higher. So more than anything else, right?
Absolutely.
Okay,
yeah.
so it's really just about me and my ego
Yeah.
and all of this. Okay. I want to kind of try and flip things up. So we're going to start with John's special feature today. We're going to start with the trivia question to make sure that the folks that don't stick with us for the whole 30 or 40 minutes every week get a chance to understand that we do this. So, John, what do you got for us today?
Well, as far as I know, nobody got last week's trivia question.
Remind me again which one it was.
And so basically we were asking who was the Supreme Court justice who served in the early 1800s that wrote a famous commentary on the United States Constitution.
I don't think we did. I think the answer I got was for a previous episode. I'm going back through some of my text messages and everything.
And he was a Federalist judge.
Okay, well, tell us who it was.
It was Joseph Story.
Okay.
Yeah.
Never would have got that.
Yep.
Okay.
And so this week's is a little easier.
Okay, good.
I tried to find a more contemporary question. I was having a hard time. But this one also comes from the 19th century, so I apologize, folks. But this is an Iowa one. So we're looking for who was the famous Iowan who served in the American Civil War. He served in the Western Theater on the Union side. He also he helped build the Transcontinental Railroad. He was a friend of Abraham Lincoln. They shared an interest in railroads. He was instrumental in
I know this
elevating Council Bluffs, and there's also a famous facility named after him in Iowa still.
I know this one. I know this one.
So
it's not who I thought at first, but yes, I do know.
So if anybody knows who that is, that's what we're looking for this week.
All right. Well, have at it, folks. That's a good one. I think that should be people. So anyway, trivia contest. All right. I don't know if there's one real common theme today other than we're going to go through election stuff because there's a lot going on out there. I think I've said that once you get past Labor Day, things start to heat up. And so there's a lot going on, not just with local elections, because that's coming up here in November, and we're going to talk about that, John, but also the upcoming 2026 elections, which seem to be what's really on most political watchers' mind right now. So we have a big announcement, and I know you're excited.
Yes, yeah.
And we're going to come back next week and actually talk about this. And my goal is to not wait until the end of the week to do it, but we will have a release of the latest iteration of the ITR Foundation poll. It has actually been a little while since we did that because things have been so much in flux that we didn't actually go in and poll. So we're here now. In this one, we did just a little bit different. We want to test the overall political environment and the image ratings of some of our leaders, but it did a little bit extra on some of the issue polling. And so you're going to get a new look at that. Are these issues that we talk about still as popular? Are they not? And we're going to have the full release of that on Monday.
Yes.
So, are you excited?
I am, yeah.
Are you more excited than you were when you got to see the advanced copy of the results?
Well,
let's not pretend we haven't seen the results here, John.
Yeah, but I am excited because I'm interested in kind of getting a little bit deeper in those results and seeing how it broke down a little bit.
Yep.
So that'll be fun.
It will be fun. Anyway, moving on, there's been a lot that's happened this week. So we talked about this last week, John. Senate Republicans elected a new majority leader this week, Iowa Senate Republicans. And look, anytime the majority leader in the Senate runs the chamber, much like the speaker runs things in the House. So they have a division between that's different. The power's a little bit more unified, the majority leader on the Senate, than it is on the House side, but that is the top leader in that chamber. And there's various reasons why it's significant, other than it's a big deal anytime you get a new leader, because that's a new vision, a new direction for their caucus. But this one, we talked about Jack Whitver stepping down as leader. He'd been leader a long time, and since 2018, and had really been through a lot of significant periods. And so anytime you lead the caucus for that amount of time, it's a big transition to who's next, right? So anyway, they elected Mike Klimesh from Spillville, elected as the new Senate Majority Leader. Do you know where Spillville's at?
Yes,
you do.
I've been there once.
Okay, well, great.
So I probably would have to use my GPS to get there again.
I absolutely would have to use my GPS to get there.
Of course, I need GPS to get to my library. So,
for those of you who don't know, John,
I'm absent-minded.
Yeah. John's lucky if he makes it home every night
That's
after
right,
work.
Yeah.
But
I've gotten lost in Walmart before.
I thought your bearings would get better the further north you got.
Yes, they do actually. Yeah.
Well, this being in Northeast Iowa, so I'd be a little bit closer
Yep.
to your homeland, that you'd at least
That's right.
start to get your bearings a little better. Spillville is up in Northeast Iowa, up toward Decorah. For those of you that are also not as up to speed on everything in Iowa. Senator Klimesh is in his second term and most recently chaired the Health and Human Services Committee, which is a very significant committee in the legislature, and very difficult. Healthcare policy is a challenge.
Yes.
Whether no matter where you're coming at it from on the political spectrum, there's a lot of moving parts in there. Inevitably, they come up on budget issues. And so if anyone that's been able to tackle that committee, I think, is ready to handle usually a broader policy portfolio. So, not a lot else to really say about that. I look forward to working with Senator Klimesh. Obviously, it's not my friend Jack Whitver, but and I think too, the other thing that's significant, John, is I think that caucus was somewhat fractured. We'll just be perfectly honest about it, particularly over the issue of the carbon capture pipeline. And I think the next leader is going to have, Senator Klimesh is going to have to bring some unity back to that caucus, who over the past several years often worked very much as one unified team. And I don't have any specific thoughts on how that will work or how that will happen, but we get more done for Iowa taxpayers. I think we get better conservative policy when they can all land on the same page. And that's not to say they shouldn't work out their differences. That's part of the process. But that will be a big part of the challenge for Leader Klimesh. Anything else on any of that, John?
No. It was a long time ago, and he probably doesn't remember. But we met with him. I think when he first ran, and so it was. But that was
would
quite a while
have
ago.
Been before I was even on the team.
Yep.
So that was wrapping up my last year there. So good. Looking forward to that, and we'll keep you all posted. Okay, I wanted to give a quick update on Iowa's 2nd congressional district, which is, for those that don't know, that's basically Northeast Iowa, and is the seat currently held by Congresswoman Ashley Hinson, who's running for the U.S. Senate. So that's a vacant seat. A couple other candidates in that race up there. Previously, we'd seen former state representative Joe Mitchell get into that race. And now this week we had current state representative Shannon Lundgren. And now one that had been widely rumored was former Congressman Rod Blum has gotten into the seat. So that's going to be a big, not just in terms of number of entrants, that's going to be a competitive primary, I think.
Yes, yeah.
I'm not trying to grade the candidates but I think they all are serious candidates in their own right. They've all done big things inside and outside of the legislature. And so it's difficult for me to handicap that one. I don't know about you. I mean, obviously somebody who's held the seat before in Congressman Blum, that comes with a certain advantage, just in terms of knowing who's who around the district, and a record to fall back on. But Representative Lundgren's been in the legislature for a long time, is a very hard worker, and Joe Mitchell, former State Representative Mitchell, has done a lot of things on the national stage since leaving the legislature and has built a lot of connections, and I think will be a successful fundraiser in his own right. So, and I think none of them are conceding the kind of the populist, call it Trump, call it America First lane. They all, I think, are interested in trying to occupy that, which is smart.
Yes.
That segment of the electorate. So, thoughts on the 2nd District, John?
I agree. I think it will be competitive. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Do you think there will be when it's competitive like this? Do you think there will be debates on this?
So.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
There isn't always a debate when you have a sitting member of Congress that draws a primary, and often there's no real motivation for them to get in. But I think the last time we had a wide open Republican primary here in the 3rd District, when Congressman Nunn got elected, there were multiple debates forums on that. So I think so. Obviously, the candidates have to agree to do it, but and if you had a candidate that's 60 points ahead of the field, maybe there's not a lot of motivation for them to participate. But I think there will be debates in that area. So we'll look forward to that.
Yeah.
Those are always interesting. We'll be watching that as well. Let's see. We're going to have another legislative special election coming up. And these do draw a fair amount of interest because they sometimes are seen as indicators of where the political environment is at, although the better indicator is the ITR Foundation poll, which we will see next week. But State Representative Mike Sexton of Rockwell City resigned last week to take a job as the state director of the USDA Rural Development. My friend Mike Sexton had been in the legislature a long time. He had first been elected, I think, in 2014, so over a decade at the Capitol, and then served a term in the Iowa Senate back in the late 90s to 2001. So there's been a lot of turnover in the legislature over the past several years, and so really one of the more senior members, I think, of either caucus, frankly, in terms of just amount of time in the legislature. So that's coming up. The governor, the governor set the date as December 9th, which I don't know. There's constitutionally, she has to set it within a certain time, and then it goes a certain time out. But so that'll be after all our local elections. But there was a lot made of special elections earlier this year. There were Senate special elections in Clinton and then in Sioux City. One was was it Clinton? Yes, it was. It was for the seat held by Lieutenant Governor Chris Conoyer.
Yes.
As she moved into that. And then the death of Senator Rocky DeWitt created the vacancy in Sioux City. And those are seats that President Trump won, I think both of them by double digits, and then Democrats won those. Thoughts on what should we be looking at for? Now, just for folks, this is House District 10, which is Pocahontas, Sac, and Calhoun counties. I think the population center is Rockwell City or Pocahontas. It is a very rural district. But thoughts on what to expect in that one?
Well, I don't know what to expect. I think this is based on with the Democrats picking up those 2 Senate seats and making a lot of attention of breaking the Senate supermajority, and a lot of attention that was with winning those 2 special elections. I think they're going to put a lot of momentum into trying to winning this election, and so I expect they're going to try to. I don't know if they have a candidate yet. I don't know that, But I guess they're gonna. My prediction is that this is going to be a very aggressive turnout by the Democrats, and I hope the Republicans do the same, because this is going to be this is, if Democrats win, they're certainly going to use this to try to propel themselves, saying, this is a wave happening here.
Make no mistake, this happens, and these special elections take on national. They carry with them national interest. I don't know how far we want to go on this. Maybe someday we'll go deeper into it. There are national committees that operate to help win majorities in legislative chambers. You have the Republican State RSLC, Republican State Legislative Committee, I think. Yeah, and then there is there's the counterpart on the Democrat side, and I don't know what their acronyms, but it doesn't matter. And they raise money from big national donors and then give it to legislative leaders and chambers to try and win majorities. But when they can see, hey, we won a Trump plus 20 district in Iowa, look at the environment, look what we were able to do, give us more money. And it even happens on the ground here in Iowa. If you're a Democrat leader and you win a Trump plus 20 district, that's a lot more exciting to a potential donor or a potential helps you recruit candidates. Mm-hmm. If you're trying to recruit a candidate into a maybe even a somewhat marginal seat, if they can see a path to victory, they're a whole lot more likely to actually run and take this on. I think it looks like on the Republican side is the candidate, and I don't know if there will be multiple here or not. This will be chosen at a nominating convention, is Wendy Larson, who had actually ran in a primary against Mike Sexton just a year ago and just very narrowly lost. It was less than 100 votes. So I saw that she has announced, and I had heard that she's a very formidable candidate and did a really good job. So I don't know about anything else up there. I'm going to go out on a limb, John. I'm going to say this one's not close. Republicans will take care of business here, even relative to the Trump number. I think, and I don't know that I'm really pinning that to anything other than I just don't see it. Yeah, I wish I could explain. Yeah. I'm expecting a win that is in line with sort of the generic ballot in those areas. And I'm going to go on to a small rant on these special elections and the ones that Republicans did not win. There's always a reason behind just you can't say, hey, the environment in Iowa has declined, therefore, or that is why we lost. You lost a Trump plus 20 district because all of a sudden the political pendulum has swung that far. That's not it. There is how much money was invested on each side. There's obviously a thing of voter enthusiasm, which I think Democrats probably can rightly claim that they have more enthusiasm right now. That's typically the case in a midterm. But special elections are turnout operations. That's it. It's not persuasion. It's not trying to go to no-party voters and convince them, those handful of folks in the middle. It is all a mechanical process to get and turn out as many of your people as you can. And my perspective, I've had people disagree with me on this, is that Democrats do a very good job with special elections. They have a core group that they're able to turn out, and maybe that's just battle scars of having lost some of these really close ones. And then at the end of the day, and I know I'm going on a rant on this, John, but I don't want to say the stakes aren't high, but either of those two Senate districts or this seat, the Sexton seat up in Northwest side, they're going to elect a Republican next fall because they're up. They are, and then you get into a general election environment. I think the Sioux City seat might be a little bit more competitive, but these seats will revert back to what it is. So I think that I don't have a lot of long-term takeaways on any of these. Okay.
I think those are important points because I'll just quickly add, certainly I think the Democrats are trying to play up these victories. And certainly when you listen to and read the articles of what on Rob Sandin is Iowa tour is basically saying, Iowa's broken and the party process is broken. And so they're trying to take advantage of basically saying they have momentum and that, the tide is turning. So they're trying to certainly, I think, read more into this. And
as a matter of political operation, they should. They should try and claim any edge, any advantage they can. I just think it's overstated.
Yes,
I think it's overstated the other way around too. We've been in environments where, the Republicans are out of power. They win a special election, and look, all of a sudden, we're going to win everywhere. I think largely those have been precursors of pretty good environments. But we will see. And if you really want to know what the political environment is like in Iowa, you can tune into the next episode of the ITR Live podcast and hear us talk about the ITR Foundation poll, and we will tell you all about it. I want to move on, John, to another story that is just infuriating to me. And we have because there has to be a better way. Here's the headline here. 34 Iowa candidates will not be on the November ballot after city and school officers missed the deadline. So what has happened is 34 candidates for either school board or city council on this coming November ballot. For a local election, you don't file with the Secretary of State. You file with your local clerk. And then they go ahead and give the information on to get it published on the ballot. 34 of these candidates did everything right, submitted all their paperwork, and will not be on the ballot because somebody didn't do their job quite right or made a mistake or whatever at the local level and didn't get on. That's wrong. It shouldn't work that way. The Secretary Pate said these errors were made despite, quote, extensive training sessions, which I think is true. They do a lot of work on this. And we're giving them the deadlines and resources. John, am I wrong? I mean, this is, I'm trying to find the right word. You have somebody that did everything right to put their name on the ballot, and because of the action or inaction of somebody else, they are not on the ballot.
Yeah.
How is that acceptable? Because the remedy here is that they should go run write-in campaigns.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. It's incompetence, and it should not be acceptable. And now these candidates are going to have to, work even harder to get their folks out to do a write-in campaign, which is even more difficult.
I don't know if the word is disenfranchised, but these folks have a constitutional right, if they do all the steps right, to appear on the ballot and run for office. That has been taken away from them.
Yes, yeah.
Through a completely arbitrary action. There has to be a mechanism to fix this.
Yeah.
I find it completely unacceptable.
Yeah.
That we say, oh, sorry, go fill a write-in campaign, because I don't know what happened on each of these. I can read the article, one was 15 minutes late or whatever. Okay, fine. Somebody made a mistake. I understand that mistakes happen. What happens when it's not a mistake?
When it's intentional.
What happens when the clerk takes the paperwork and then decides to, I had to go let the dogs out because they don't like that candidate?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that happened here, but what's to prevent that from happening?
That's right.
Oh, sorry, I just got a call that my kid is sick at school. I got to go take care of it. And maybe they do. It'd be real easy for someone with bad intentions to do the exact same thing here.
Yeah.
And let somebody they don't like not appear on the ballot. And this is very dangerous territory. And this isn't the first time this has happened.
No.
So this is something the folks that write election law, I've been around that myself, there has to be a mechanism to fix that. It is unacceptable.
Yeah, there definitely needs better accountability and transparency in this process.
I don't know. I've never been really comfortable with filing election papers with local clerks. I think it all ought to be with your county auditor. I mean, this is with the auditors, but I don't know if there's a system that verifies, or we have to do better. This is just wholly unacceptable, and it is offensive. And I know nothing about any of those individual candidates that are supposed to be on the ballot. So somebody's got to work on it. And I get you have to have a certain window that you have to. Secretary of State has to verify things and then print the ballots, and that takes time, and they go out. Then move up that date, because frankly, if you're a local candidate filing your nomination papers in the middle of September, I mean, you're cutting it to the end anyway. We can move that up a little bit of time just to make sure it works right. Not acceptable.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. That's all you got?
No, I agree. I mean,
you're letting me do all the talking today.
Well, no, you're on a roll. So
I am on a roll today.
No, it's there needs to be more integrity in the process, and this is why people lose faith in the process as well as when this stuff happens, and why people are discouraged by the political process.
Yeah, it's I think I can accept mistakes, but the access to the ballot, the right to vote, those things are sacrosanct.
Yes, yeah.
In a well-functioning democracy. And I don't want to hear the election law criticisms from the left right now. That's not, that's all, a load of, the rules are the same for everybody. And that's all our election law efforts have ever been. And when we want them to be the same for everybody, it cuts. But I have no idea of any of the political leanings of any of those people that are off the ballot. Everybody has access.
Yes.
If they follow the rules. Those people follow the rules. So another thing, too, that I'm a little bit frustrated about, I have been for several years, John, pivoting to, we're going to have, here's what's going to be on we know, well, actually don't. Coming up in November are local elections. You're going to be voting for school board and city council across the state of Iowa. Yep. And many communities are going to also have bond decisions placed on the ballot, right? Chief among them, I think, is the Des Moines Public School $265 million bond referendum. It's a lot of money. I know there's a big one in Southeast Polk Schools. It's at Waterloo. Cedar Rapids might be on the ballot. For schools.
Cedar Rapids, yeah.
And then Dallas County here,
yes,
home of the world headquarters.
Yeah.
Is they have taking another run at the new county courthouse project. We're going to go into what those projects are. We're going to get Sarah at least on the line, and we need to go through this. But there's one piece inside of us that fits with everything else we've talked about today, John. We're just now unpacking what's actually on the ballot. Much like these local candidates just filed, these local governments have just recently, many of them, indicated their interest in pursuing a bond referendum. So folks in their community are like, oh, okay, well, we're 6-7 weeks out from an election. Now we find out that we need to organize a campaign to try and defeat a bond referendum. That's unacceptable as well.
Yes, yeah.
These folks have known for a year or more that they were going to put this on the ballot. Why do they get to decide at the 11th hour? Oh yeah, we're gonna try and burden our taxpayers and their $200 or $300 a year or more. Yeah, but, I mean that's just sticking it in in the middle of the night on a Friday afternoon. No one's paying attention. We've got to bump that timeline up to give folks more time to know what's going on and organize in their community.
Yeah, because it's an advantage to the to the tax eaters. And also because let's face it, these elections, especially off-year elections, local elections, have very low participation.
Yeah. So, yes, and some folks, I think, actually, credit, well, a little bit of credit to Dallas County. They've actually been pretty transparent about it and started this process very early and have been above board on it. Still not crazy about the project or the cost, but at least they've been upfront about it. And Des Moines Public Schools is absolutely the same way as well. I think they have been very clear of their intention to pursue this. Yeah, they've actually brought down the price tag from the original ask, and so I do think they've encouraged a lot of public participation. But
they've had listening sessions and
case in point, though, Sarah is working feverishly to try and figure out where all these bond measures are across the state of Iowa, because we take it as part of our responsibility to at least educate local voters. Hey, this is happening. Make sure you know. Instead of just waiting for the school or the city or whoever to hand out the glossy mailer that talks about how awesome the project is, and it doesn't raise your property taxes, even though it's an absolute myth in many areas. So we need better laws around that as well, that they need to put this on the ballot sooner. There needs to be a clearinghouse of information where voters can go and understand where these are happening, not just waiting for this to somehow pop up on a sample ballot or on a Facebook post or something. There needs to be more information. It needs to be a longer timeline on these things.
And I think we had that reform, and we thought at the time it was in a sense a good step, but that the direct notification for bonds, that has to be strengthened, I think, and not just in a sense restating the bond question, but that there needs to be a little more teeth to those.
We would the gold standard of that, John, is look, if they put a fancy new elementary school on the ballot, they may need it, may not for the purposes, but you will get a piece of mail that says this is on the ballot. It's for our shiny new elementary school. There might even some pictures of some smiling kids walking into it, right?
Yeah.
You'll get to know that that's what the project is for. But nowhere in that information are you going to get information on how much it's going to cost you.
That's right, yeah.
You might get the top line number. It's going to cost $43 million, which seems like the cost for every recreational center in the state of Iowa.
Yes, yeah.
So just assume that that's $43 million. But I don't know what that means to me. That's a big number. Government deals in big numbers. I don't know. How much am I going to pay?
Yeah.
And often they will distill it down to, well, if you have the median house of $150,000, it'll cost you $200. Tell me what I owe. And that's what the notice is supposed to be.
Yes.
If I vote for this, I am signing up for $263 in additional property tax.
Yeah. And some of these even say, well, it's not going to impact your taxes. I find that hard to believe.
Are you trying to make me mad?
Yes, yeah.
If there is a bond that is falling off of the tax rolls and the city or the county or the school comes in and tries to reauthorize one at the exact same amount, they don't get to say it doesn't raise your taxes because they are not letting you realize the savings. And all too often what happens, oh, hey, we had a $40 million bond referendum that's expiring. It's going away. So let's go ahead and authorize another $40 million. And then they go in and look at, well, what projects can we fit into that $40 million? And you'll see this laundry list of all these fun little things and handicap restrooms and a new technology center and a new concession stand and all, just go on down the list, all the things we'd like to have. It doesn't raise your property taxes, though. Well, good grief, it does. If your local government wants to issue new debt, it raises your property taxes full stop. Every time. Stop it.
That's right. Yeah, as they say, there's no free lunch.
No, no. Somebody's paying the bill.
That's right. Yeah.
Good. Well, we've talked about that. But anyway, we're going to do work. We're going to get Sarah in here. She's going to have some articles about all of these bond measures coming up because there's a lot of them all across the state. Things that may be absolutely needed in certain communities and maybe other ones that are just completely fluffy, but that's largely up to folks in those communities. But we'll try and bring some transparency to all of that. Anything else that you need us to cover today, John?
No, I selfishly just want to highlight for our listeners that our colleague and friend Pete Sepp from National Taxpayers Union, he and I wrote a little blog. It's on our website and also NTU's website on just kind of reflecting on our founder David Stanley.
Yes.
And just as a champion for taxpayers and really as his contribution as a leader in the Iowa conservative movement. So,
if I'm not mistaken, John, it's been 10 years since Dave Stanley passed away.
Yes, yeah,
and that gave rise to it. And he was very involved in, I think, the founding of NTU as well.
Yes, yeah, yep.
And we exist today. We are here doing this work. We're here talking to you on this podcast because of the vision of Dave Stanley.
Yes, yeah.
To create and build up an organization that existed for one singular purpose, which was to be the voice of taxpayers in Iowa.
Yeah. And I'll just highlight one theme of that article real quick, and that's because whether it's federal, state, or local, Dave was always concerned with not just high taxes, but the cause of that government spending.
Yep.
And that's the huge issue right now, confronting all levels of government is just rampant government spending.
From time to time, we go back and look through some of the things that this organization worked on over the past 45 plus years. And the themes almost always resonate. The times change, the issues change, is coming back to that issue that it all boils down to spending. So when we go and talk about, if we're trying, how do we make the state budget work next year? Well, I know where to start. Spending.
Yeah.
That's how you make that work. And how do we fix Iowa's property tax problem? Guess what? I know where to start, because it's the same thing that we've talked about for almost 50 years. Spending.
That's right.
Controlling spending. That's how you honor the taxpayer in the state. And that's all part of the vision that Dave left. So,
yeah. Yep.
All right. Well, good. I'm glad you brought that up,
Yeah.
John, because that's important. So check that out. That's on our, is it on the website, or
It
do you have to
is,
go to
yeah.
NTU?
Yep.
Okay.
No, it's on our website
I thought
too.
so.
Yep.
And it's
Yep.
on our socials and all that.
Yeah.
But we certainly remember Dave and everything that he left behind. So with that, I think that's all the time we have for today,
I think
John.
so, yeah.
I'm certainly out of topics. I'm
Yeah.
certainly out of energy. You got me fired up, but we got there.
I'm excited. One thing I'm excited for next week, just to tease a topic as we get into the gold standard of our poll, is one of the questions has to deal with the topic I'm passionate about.
Yes, we let you have a question this time, John. We gave John one question.
And it's an issue that's still in the news and was in the news today that we kind of talked about.
Yep.
So I'm excited to dig deeper into that.
I'm excited to showcase that. Here's one little teaser. One teaser. Iowans are still upset about their tax burden.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. That's all the time we got for today. Thank you for joining us again. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to tell your friends. And with all of that, we will see you next time on ITR Live.